Hi, I'm Keegan. I'm with the Econ Tutoring Center. I'm going to talk a little bit about the power rule for derivatives. Presumably, your professor may use different notation, although it's a good idea to know about all of the different types of notation you use for derivatives. Okay, so let's write out the power rule. So for a function of x, well, let's call it y equals f of x equal to ax to the b plus c, where a is a constant, b is a constant, and c is a constant, but x is the variable that we're talking about that controls the value of this function. Then the derivative of y with respect to x, which is the same as, we could also write it the f prime of x, is equal to a times b times x to the power of b minus 1, and we just drop the c. Okay? So this works in general. You're always going to be dropping the constant at the end that's not attached to any variable when doing a power rule. Take the exponent, multiply it, and subtract 1. Okay? So this should help you out with any derivatives where you're starting out with a polynomial function. So let's go ahead and do an example of a polynomial function that you can find the derivative of using this rule. So we go ahead and use our power rule on this function, and we end up with dy over dx equals f prime of x equals 3, and that's it, because we go ahead and multiplied 3 times 1, and then we go ahead and do x to the 1 minus 1 plus, well, nothing, because we dropped the constant term. Okay, so 3 times 1, of course, is 3. X to the 1 minus 1 is x to the 0, which, of course, is also 1. So we end up with 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay, so let's throw out a couple more examples to get you used to the idea of using the power rule. Say y equals 4. Then dy over dx, which is how y changes when we change x a little bit, is 0, because x doesn't appear in this function. So it's just a constant term that drops out when we use the power rule. Then dy over dx equals 3 times 5. So dy over dx equals 3 times 5 to the x to the 3 times x to the 3 minus 1. And we go ahead and drop the constant term. And so what we end up is 15x squared. All right, so hopefully this helped you to be able to understand how to use the power rule to find a derivative. And if you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment on the video below, or you can come in and talk to us in the tutoring center, or also ask your professor.